Hello everyone and welcome to another English with Joseph. Well, firstly, I'd like to comment on some feedback I've had in the last few days. I had an email from Ahmed in Kuwait telling me that he thinks my accent is very bad and that perhaps I should think about a new profession because he doesn't think my voice is good enough to be a teacher. Well, Ahmed, thank you for your very honest feedback. If you think you can speak better than me, please do come, and you're more than welcome to do a podcast for me. After all, I have other things I could be doing than recording these for you if you don't understand them. But thank you for your feedback, and if you want to help me even sort out the technical side behind the scenes, please do get back in touch. Although I suppose you won't, because if you can't understand me, then I don't suppose you'll be watching, will you? Anyway, as I was saying, a big welcome to those of you who are regular viewers of my podcast. Well, my name is Joseph, and I'm an English teacher. I teach mainly on Skype, but also face-to-face here in Barcelona. A few of you have been asking about my background in teaching and what my favourite areas are in teaching English, and I'd like to share that with you now. So, first of all, my background is in communications. I've always worked in communications. I've also worked in telephony. I've worked in radio, both on the technical side and as a presenter. And probably my favourite job was as a newsreader, which is where I get my particular pitch and tone voice from. Well, I've been teaching English for 20 years, sometimes full-time, sometimes part-time, and now because of the internet, I'm able to teach a lot. I teach mainly online, and there's a wonderful joy about teaching online because I get to meet people from all over the world hourly, and I consider it a wonderful gift when someone chooses to spend an hour with me. Of course, we don't always talk about personal things. In fact, as a teacher, I don't particularly like asking personal questions like, how are you? Do you have a dog? Do you have brothers and sisters? These are questions which perhaps are not really very helpful in the experience of talking. I prefer to ask deep and probing questions, such as, what's your ambitions? What's the meaning of the word ambition? Who's the most ambitious person that you know? Do you think ambitions can be dangerous? Those are the kind of questions I like to ask people, rather than the usual kind which English teachers ask. Although it all depends on the level, but sometimes I wonder about students. If a student has more than one teacher, he's probably used to answering the questions, do you have a dog? Do you have a pet? Do you have a sister? Do you have a brother? What's your hobbies? What's your pastimes? And these are not really very helpful. The best kind of questions are where you have to give an opinion about the news, about something that's meaningful, not only to you, but to the world and to the global community. Well, the thing I like most about teaching is voice. I love accent reduction, and I love helping people to reduce their accent. All throughout my video clips, probably you'll see a lot of different clips about how to reduce your accent. I believe in the shadow method. Not only do I believe in it, I know it works. It's helped me to learn foreign languages, and it's there to help you also. So if you're new to this site, I suggest you take some time to look around and get yourself comfortable. About me. Well, I'm 45 years old. I live here in Barcelona, in Spain. Originally, I was born in Scotland, and I've spent many years travelling around the world. If you look at my profile anywhere on the internet, if you ever find it, you'll discover that although I was born in Scotland, I've also lived near London, I've lived in Arabia, I've lived in the Netherlands, and I've travelled extensively throughout the world, so I don't really have a very strong accent. And in October, I will return to the UK, and when I'm there, I will be living in Scotland, so you'll be watching some video clips of me walking around in the cold. Well, that's enough about my personal life. I'd like to share with you now some links which I find are very helpful, things that I like to listen to. Sometimes people wonder, I wonder what an English teacher actually does when he's not teaching. Well, I like to listen to the radio. One of the stations I like to listen to is PCJ. PCJ presents the oldest running radio program in the world. It's called The Happy Station Show, and it's been running since 1926, I believe, or 1927. The Happy Station Show was a program that originally came from the Netherlands. It was presented by a company which was owned by the Philips Group. This is where the letters PCJ came from. That subsequently was purchased and bought over, I think, by Radio Netherlands, the world service, Radio Nederland Wereldomroep in Hilversum. Now, it may have been something else before it became part of Radio Netherlands, but the strangest thing is, even though it became part of Radio Netherlands, it was never really owned by Radio Netherlands. They simply looked after it, and the presenters throughout the years, they changed, but they always looked after the Happy Station without any kind of interference. Eddie Stark was the first presenter, and then there was Tom Meyer. Both individuals were fully multilingual, presenting programs in French, Spanish, English, and Dutch. It was very strange. Back in the days when you had to be multilingual, or at least have a few skills to use before you could work in media. Anyway, after Radio Netherlands stopped the broadcasting, they got rid of the Happy Station show. Tom Myers retired and happily lives in the Netherlands, and the show was resurrected by someone else. His name is Keith Perron. He's a Canadian gentleman living in Taiwan, and you can find the Happy Station at pcjmedia.com. The archives of the Happy Station are also in Keith's custody, and he's currently building a website where you can hear all of them. The Radio Netherlands archives are around somewhere online, but I'm not quite sure where. Well, that tells you a little bit about me. What else do I like to listen to? Well, I have a strong interest in radio, so every week I always like to listen to Glenn Hauser's World of Radio. He does a podcast so I can hear what's happening on shortwave. Well, that's really all I wanted to speak with you about today. I just wanted to tell you a bit more about myself. If you're new to these podcasts, I hope you enjoy them, and if you have anything you'd like to tell me, remember, Dailymotion, for some reason, don't allow me to see comments. So if there's anything you would like to say, or any books you would like to receive completely free of charge, do write to me, please. My details are all on this site. You can also see my main website, which is englishwithjosephblog.wordpress.com. Thank you, and a very, very peaceful night to you, wherever you are.